Okay, well, last season was so close with these hot rods, as I love to call them. Big engines in not ordinary-looking cars, but fantastically tuned cars. This is the man who ended up the champion, Roger Johansson. New paint scheme for 2004, but his chief competitor last year, which came right down to the wire, was previous champion Håkan Nilsson from Sweden. He drives an early Camaro with a huge engine underneath the hood, and the racing was just so very, very tight. Well, here we are in 2004. New paint scheme, as I said, on this Mustang of Roger Johansson's. And what's his feelings about the 2004 championship?
Yeah, our hope is to remain the number one and have that position in the end of this year.
But his opponent, he's back here again, number 2 qualifier in round number 1. This is Sweden's Håkan Nilsson, and I know for a fact he hates being beaten.
We lost the championship title last year and ended up number 2, and none on the team were happy with that, so we have done some pre-season testing, and we really want to fight back this year.
Well, the man who has made a return to Pro Mod racing for the 2004 season is one of the quickest in Europe. This is Patrick Wikström.
You've been away for a while. How long?
For 1 year we have been away from this. My expectation is I hope we're going to be a champion this year.
Well, champion he may look to be, but he's got to get around this man first of all. The man I love to call the entertainer. He's quite incredible. Does it all in a pickup truck.
Everybody races is tough here. It's 19 cars in Pro Mod, and everybody can win.
So here we are, round number 1, Sanderport Raceway in England, the NDRS Bilsport Pro Modified Championship. 19 cars, we've already cut them down to the final 8. This is how they look, and we'll be looking back on that in a moment. But meanwhile, let's just get across to the man who organises the European drag racing. This is Keith Bartlett.
Basically, Pro Mods, people wonder what it really is when we say these outlaw classes. They're not really an outlaw class, but the familiarity people have got with Pro Stock, which is a manufacturer's class, where they are modified to a manufacturer's standing, where you look at them and you think they look like the car you see on the street. The wild Pro Mods are anything but that. They've got huge horsepower engines in them. You know, they've got 730 cubic inch motors in them. They're real fast. They run at over 200 miles an hour. They run low 6-second passes. They are wild door slammer racing, basically because the competitors and the drivers involved in it actually are very professional teams. People may see it as an outlaw class, but actually they are very professional, very well turned out teams. And as you probably know from your own experience, they are a very, very big crowd favourite. Not just with the crowd, but they are with me too.
Well, here we are in the commentary box. I'm John Price, sitting right next to me, Darryl Bradford. And Darryl, I know that you really adore these machines.
These machines are absolutely fantastic. I think I adore them, as I'd love to drive one. Roger Johansson, defending champion, had an absolutely banner season last year. Fantastic year for the whole crew. In the right-hand lane is Håkan Fahlström, up from the north of Sweden. He's teamed up with another team, brought along his engine this year to try and go after the championship.
Well, this year, Roger Johansson out with a new engine, just round about 12,000 cc's, and he's all over the track. Hey, a surprise win for Håkan Fahlström with the big Fairlane, a 685 to a losing all over the track, 772. Wow, last year's champ is out, but just look at this. What about these for hot rods?
Yeah, hot rods they are indeed. In the left-hand lane we've got Peter Wacker from Switzerland with a nitrous-powered 706 cubic inch engine, 57 Chevy. In the right-hand lane, Fredrik the man Fagerström, all the way from Sweden with a Chevrolet C10 pickup truck with a supercharged engine. You can't get more diverse than in this class. This looked like it was going to be a really close race, John.
Well, yes, indeed. And these two hot rods here coming up to the start line. It was going to be very, very close between these two. Everybody thought that Fast Freddy would get it, but he comes out of the run. You saw the butterfly shut on that air intake well before the finish line. Peter Wacker took a surprise win.
Yeah, John, it was a surprise win because Freddie had been running down into the 6.5s this weekend. So you see he got about 0.3 of a second on Peter Wacker, but it wasn't his day. Next up, Patrick Wikström on a bye run here because his opponent Peter Kunk, who he was actually scheduled to run against, damaged a piston in the first round race, couldn't make it out here. Now Patrick's actually run down to a 6.32 with this machine. Now, I think the crew on this run were trying to step it up, see what the racetrack would take. He shook and spun the tyres, so they knew obviously they gave it a little bit too much. Once again, he was #1 qualified this weekend, looking to take the championship back again.
Indeed, so just a slow run through for him, and that put him into the semi-finals. But then out came this pair, and once again, it's just hot rod heaven as far as I'm concerned. It's the Camaro of Håkan Nilsson. That's the green VDEC sponsored machine here. He's run down into the 6.3s as well. Got to be a championship contender for this year. And then a whole new stretched car for the man from Holland, Henry Houston, who's really hoping for good things from this machine. But away they went, and Håkan Nilsson made no mistake of this one. Took a very, very comfortable win and found himself in the semi-finals. The VDEC squad very, very happy with that. So let's have a look and see how the semi-finals have set up. Patrick Wikström finds himself up against Håkan Fulström, and then Håkan Nilsson finds himself up against the man from Switzerland, Peter Wacker, who is having a fabulous weekend.
Yeah, he's having a real good time, like I said. First time in the semi-finals in a Pro Mod competition. But here we have Patrick Wikström up against Håkan Fulström. And Håkan Fulström's been having a bit of a torrid weekend. He'll be happy to make it to the semi-finals. Let's see what Patrick thinks about it.
Running very comfortably in 6.3s. How have you managed that after a year off?
Oh, going back and check what I did before and set up the car again, and we try and we have figured out something new on the car. And
new car for you this year?
Yeah. We had to merge 2 teams from 2 towns back in Sweden, so a little bit of a problem back home. So we sorted out with the best from 2 teams.
Really?
And the one team provides the car, and I provide a new engine that I bought from the state, and the drive train, and a driving as well.
Well, that sounds a very, very good deal indeed. Look at this, the size of this car. Almost aircraft carrier size. But Patrick Wikström gets away first. This could be the end of Håkan Fulström's weekend. It is indeed. Patrick Wikström takes a well-earned win. What a great drag race, though. 646 to a 685.
no, we have a back at takeoff horsepower from it. It was like a bomb before when I have a around. But we try. Want to win to low 620s.
Well, it certainly works for him, Darryl, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Patrick Wikström, the master of understatement, calming the car down to run 6.4s, which other teams would kill to do. Anyway, the other semi-final, in the left-hand lane, we've got Håkan Nilsson from Sweden in the VDEC Camaro up against Peter Wacker from Switzerland in the 57. Let's see what Håkan thinks going into this round.
We've had some tough competition this week, and we weren't pleased at all with the runner-up position from last year, so we're here to take the championship, that's for sure.
Patrick is running very, very quick, isn't he? Down into the 6.3s. Has the Camaro got a 6.3 in it for you?
It sure does. Patrick has run a couple 6.3s, but he's not been consistent. He shook a lot, and we've been running 40s all day and all day yesterday, so we feel pretty comfortable with the setup we have right now.
Up to the start line then. This is very serious stuff here with Peter Wacker, and red light. They both pull a red light, but the man with the worst red light, if that's possible, is Håkan Nilsson. He's eliminated. Peter Wacker, the luck stays with him. He marches on into the next round.
Well, yeah, this will be his first ever final round in any form of Pro Modified competition. He's going to be so happy. Patrick Wikström's going to be in the other lane, a real tough customer, very difficult to beat, #1 qualifier, and looking to get back to his championship form of previous years.
Well, here we go. The burnouts are going, look at this, side by side from these 2 hot rods. The modern-day Camaro running with a supercharger on board, up against the big engine, nitrous-burning car of Switzerland's Peter Wacker.
I saw the red light, and inside my car I was screaming. I was really screaming because defending champion Håkan Nilsson was really hard to beat, and I beat him.
I have a pretty good performance on the car, but there was a little bump on the track, so fly a little bit.
Fly a little bit. That's the way to do it. Well, here we go. Up to the staging beams for these 2 then. This is the final of the NDRS Bilsport round #1. And away first goes Peter Wacker. He's having a dream day here this week. weekend, and Vikstrom's out of it. Wackham goes motoring by Darrell, he takes the win.
Absolutely unbelievable from the crew from Switzerland, the country where motorsport is banned, and he beats 18 other cars to take the first NDRS Bilsport Pro Modified title at Santa Pod.
Patrick Bilstrom, he was a champion before in Pro Mod War. I was never, so this was my first big win at Santa Pod. I'm very happy to be here and to be the winner.
Well, Lady Luck must have been sitting in the passenger seat on that 57. Here we go, Peter Wacker in front of all of those racing Swedish cars. Quite extraordinary.
We've got pictures of this car. The number 2 man in the championship last year, previous Pro Mod. Well, there we are. There's the burnout, and it looks as though John Ellis usually has a little bit of a pop and a bang on the start line. Let's hope the sport. Yeah, and this is really